Welcome. Welcome back. UFO 50. Campanella 2. It's admittedly been a few weeks since I even looked at this game or recorded this footage. But yeah, I needed a break. Both from UFO 50 and also just in general, but also I've been working on a side project, which I won't announce right here. It wouldn't be appropriate. But I wanted to get this like finally edited and finished and uploaded because I'm not done with UFO 50 by a long stretch. I want to finish the series, and I want to even do a kind of a victory lap final. But I think the UFO 50 is a very good game. It's definitely one of my favorite games ever, despite complaining about it very frequently. But Campanella 2 was a trial for sure. In a lot of ways, to me, and this is gonna be divisive maybe, but I think that Campanella 2 is a almost truer sequel to Spelunky in a lot of ways. It has that Spelunky vibe and spirit, but it doesn't feel, I don't know, malicious. It's a little malicious. It's definitely malicious, but like as malicious as Spelunky 2. It doesn't have that kind of a Rube Goldberg style of level structure, which I appreciate. This game, once you've like really gotten a hang of it, you can actually pretty much navigate it very traditionally. You do not need to have like a backlog archive memory of like every single possible combination of hazard and enemy. So it's more traditional than Spelunky 2 in my opinion. And so I ended up liking it more in some ways, but I also got really frustrated with this game. I'm not gonna lie. It's really ball-breakingly difficult, and it's long, and death means starting over from scratch. And the really disappointing thing for me is that I actually tried very, very hard to cherry this. Because for a couple of reasons. One is because I didn't think it was going to be that much harder to cherry it than just play it. I was a little bit wrong about that, but also because I didn't really want to come back to this. Like I was like kind of sick of it by the time I was, about ready to finish it. And really, it wasn't up to me whether I finish it. It was up to a little bit of luck, a little bit of my mood at the time, and a little bit of just like smashing my face enough times against a brick wall until it finally gave. So I didn't know when I was going to finish this. I just knew that, I was going to try my best. And generally my best run would always be the first one of a sit-down session, and that was true for this one, as you could spot from the beginning. I had just kind of sat down and I stopped recording narration for this series. I realized after a while that this was going to be one of those ones I didn't want to record live, or whatever you want to call it, in real time. I didn't want to do narration real time. I wanted to do post commentary, and I'm glad I made that decision. So what is included here is very much a spotlight reel of some of my decision making, some of the stuff I went through, some of the extra challenges I forgave, I don't know, and also my efforts to visit all the sages. I do visit all 3 sages, but I am convinced, I'm not actually convinced, I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm not sure at all if you also need to get the key and visit a locked door in the last world. But I kind of highlight that part. I've got the included footage, and I'm really still not sure what I meant to do, but it feels to me, because I couldn't find whatever sage was in the last world. I could not find them, no matter how much and there was also an unfortunate kind of wall that made it very difficult to even look, because half the level was like inaccessible. We'll get there, but it seems to me that in order to cherry this, you do have to get the key. That's what it seems like to me right now, but I don't know. Something you may have noticed as you're watching this is that a lot of my decision making when it came to what power-ups I got what items I received came down to survivability. I really I came to appreciate basically 2 power-ups in this entire game, which was more money and the spread shot. If it came down to it, I would basically always take those 2 power-ups. I do actually like the one that lets you summon your ship. It came in handy a couple of times, but it's very circumstantial. But it is, like, it can actually genuinely save your life, so it is maybe worth picking up if you can get it from the woods. But a lot of the power-ups I took were like, give me more health, give me, like, never mind a health upgrade, just give me some health back, because the health back upgrade is 5 health, and then the health upgrade is only 2 health, and half the time I needed more health and not a health upgrade. So I had to make a lot of decisions based on survivability. And then also increasing your fuel whenever possible. Can't remember if I grabbed the health upgrade or the max health. I guess when you have only 2 damage, you may as well grab the health upgrade, because you do get the 2 health from the upgrade. But yeah, brutally difficult. Honestly, I'm sure there's going to be people who disagree that it was actually easy and get good chump, but you know, feel free to say that in the comments if you want. It helps me a great deal, actually. These levels, these intermediate kind of platformer levels, I never really felt super comfortable with them, to be honest. They always felt like I was pushing a boulder a little bit. They are meant to be pretty severe challenges, I think. They're meant to wear you down a little bit. You can see here, what do I take? Yeah, if I'm missing enough health, I always grab the health back. But extra fuel is genuinely, like, very, very useful. You can see there, I honestly occasionally do a little ship summon, if only to get myself into the habit of using that. And also included here is I learned finally that those green hoops would replenish your fuel after you had gotten the last star. So that, you know, that definitely helps you survive the last leg of the journey. But geez, like this is all a mess. These guys almost always just made a level so spicy, because, you know, trying to shoot and dodge something that's bouncing is really difficult. Our little friend is free. I forget what his name is. They've got names and they list them at the end. Campanella. So there's the door, and I'm a little bit I don't know. I'm very confused as to how the whole key and door situation works, because I did get a key and go through a door at one point, and it brought me here. It brought me to Campanella. So I'm a little bit confused as to how that's supposed to work. If I had a hope, it's that I just missed the sage in the second part of Campanella, because usually I feel like the sages usually show up in the second part of each stage, like, you know, Woods Part 2 and you know, whatever, the Part 2 of each stage. I did include as much of this footage as I thought would be interesting, because I wasn't here a lot, to be honest. I didn't get to Campanella very often, and it is very challenging. It did kill a couple of my runs. It is extremely difficult, but I honestly found it was being quite forgiving this one time I was playing through it. Like, there weren't as many enemies. There are those boomerang projectile enemies, and they suck. They really give me a hard time. There you can see I almost always go for a health pack over upgrades if it means surviving a little bit longer. Right here, I probably shouldn't have grabbed that last star. I probably should have explored it just a little bit more. But I think I was tired. I was just, like, really fed up. And I also didn't know... I really didn't know what I was looking for. Like, I have to assume that there is just a regular blue door or red door sage at the second part of Campanella that has the sage, but I didn't see it. I didn't find it. And I did try to look for it. I actually, after finishing the game, I did actually seek it out. I tried a couple more times to play through the game, but it was like, I'm good for now. I'll come back to it maybe when or if I try and cherry this game. But it's a tough one. I do think the cherry is good for the most part. I mean, it does obviously require a little bit more effort, and it requires a little bit more expertise. But I do think it's worth trying to get the cherry on this one. There are other games I don't think it's worth on, but Campanella 2 was pretty okay. Again, it kind of reminds me of Spelunky in that you're like trying to look for something specific, and each stage has a hidden door, basically a hidden stage. It's not as interesting as Spelunky 1 because I feel like the thing you're looking for in Spelunky 1 is a contextual clue, kind of stage specific thing you're looking for. But it does feel in that same kind of spirit. You can see here, I'm really grappling with this decision here, and I almost die there. So I'm like, screw it. I'm not gonna look for it. I can't find it, and I'm just gonna accept that. And I was almost out of fuel too. I just couldn't find the sage. What are you gonna do? Sometimes it's better to just win than to, you know, win with flying colors. And I really just wanted to like have this game finished with the option of bailing. So here we are at the final stage. Crepelia 3, I guess is what it's called. In this final stage, I actually had enough health to justify getting health upgrades rather than just health, because I only had 2 damage. So I grabbed both health upgrades, which was a crazy, you know, massive amount of health for this last leg. This was the first time, mind you, I ever fought this boss. So keep that in mind when you see me badly dodging things. It's actually a pretty good boss fight. It is interesting, and it telegraphs very forgivingly. Like, any faster and I probably would have taken damage from that. This move is actually, like, very forgiving. Yeah, I almost take damage to that one as well, because I'm just not yet clued into some of the telegraphs. But I honestly think Spread Shot is just a must in any playthrough if you can get it. It certainly made this last boss easier. I do know that guy, I think, is a return, because there's another boss in one of the other UFO 50 games that feels exactly the same. No, it wouldn't be Moon Cat. I can't remember which one. Someone in the comments can remind me, maybe. And then this very much threw me for a surprise, as there's like one more challenge, just in case you're not paying attention. Which I had mixed feelings about this, because on one hand it was good. It felt good and it wasn't too difficult, but on the other hand I was like, come on. Like, after all that, you're gonna throw this last little hoop literally to jump through? Because if I died here after killing the boss, I think I would have been done with UFO 50 forever. I think I would have just yeeted everything. Yeeted the whole game out the door. There are decent telegraphs here, and it is pretty forgiving. You can see how, like, I took damage. Like, if that had been my last health. I know I'm making a lot of, maybe a mountain out of a molehill, but honestly, I could foresee dying in this to something stupid, just like you're really fighting for your life here, and you're trying desperately to eke out the win after all of those obstacles avoided, and there was the potential to die there, and that was just wild to me. But anyway, you made it. Isabel and Pilot his name is Pilot, both successfully escaped the giant space station in the clutches of Queen Zoo. Unfortunately, nothing could be done about the parasitic invasion of the time jellies, and the station is now just a lifeless husk. Again, I'm not a huge fan of the, if you didn't jump through every hoop, you get like a bummer ending, but at least it's not as bummer as your mom dying. Yeah, and I threw these last few deaths in because these are my last attempts to actually like play through the game and get the cherry. To be honest, the effort was a little bit limp. I was not feeling up to the task, but either way, for posterity, I decided to include these. And that'll be that. If you want to hit the like button, consider subscribing for more content like this, and I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.